I built a small jukebox with my ESP32. It reads MP3 straight from the SD card, decodes them on board, sends the real I2S audio into a hi-fi DAC, and lets me control song selection. It's basically an SD card jukebox. Let's begin. In this video, we'll be using the Freenove ESP32S3 microcontroller along with the Freenove ESP32S3 breakout board and a DAC decoder or DAC decoder, an OLED I2C or I2C display module, a PAM8610 Class D stereo amplifier, a 3.5mm audio cable, a momentary push button, some jumper wires, a couple of 10-watt 8-ohm speakers, the UNS Angle 3 Pro active speaker with auxiliary input, and an SD card. This little board is a DAC, or a DAC, I've heard it pronounced both ways. It's a digital to analog converter, and what it does is takes the digital audio from a microcontroller and it turns it into an analog left and right audio that I can use to feed into headphones or powered speakers or an amplifier. It's also good to know what this isn't, and this is not a speaker driver. The output is line level. It's kind of like an auxiliary output. So if you connect the passive speaker straight to it, you're going to get silence or at best, really bad sound. So for real speakers, you need an amplifier board like a PAM8610, which is what we're using, or one of the TPA boards, or just plug it into a powered speaker with an auxiliary in, like we're going to do at the end of this video. This board doesn't take USB audio or analog input. It only understands I2S digital audio, which is just 3 main signals, and those pins on our board is the BCK, the LRCK, which is sometimes labeled LCK, and the DIN pins. And the direction does matter because the microcontroller's audio output goes into the DAC's DIN pin. The SCK pin is a system clock or master clock pin, and since this module doesn't require an external master clock, and we don't want the SCK pin to float, so we're going to go ahead and connect that pin to ground. Otherwise, we may not hear any audio. Here are those same pin connections using the breakout board. On the back of this module, there are some small solder jumpers labeled H1L to H4L. They just set the default DAC modes by pulling the control pins high or low. We're going to set jumper 1, 2, and 4 to low, and jumper 3 to high. So if you're not getting sound, you want to make sure that jumper 3 is set to high. That is your mute, unmute jumper. If you're getting static, you want to check jumper 4, make sure that it's set to low. That sets the module to I2S format. We'll also be using a 0.96-inch SSD 1306 OLED display. It's a tiny 128 by 64 pixel screen, and the best part is that it's I2C, so it only uses 4 wires. Power, ground, and 2 data lines, SDA and SCL. And because it's OLED, it's self-luminous. There's no backlight. So the contrast is great and it stays readable even in darker rooms. And this is what makes the project feel like a real device instead of just a board playing audio. These modules usually show up at I2C address 0x3c, but it can also show up as 0x3d. So if your screen's blank, it just may be that you have the wrong address. You're also going to want to keep your I2C wires short. If you run long wires, the display can flicker or randomly stop updating. But once it's wired and dressed correctly, this is one of the easiest upgrades you can do to make it look more professional. We're also using a PAM8610 Class D stereo amplifier. Now the DAC board gives me a clean line level audio, but it can't drive the speakers. This amp takes that small audio signal and it actually provides the power needed to run real speakers. And these speakers, by the way, are from an old Samsung LCD TV that I used to have. This amplifier is rated around 2 by 10 watts when you feed it with 12 volts, but the real output depends on the speaker impedance and the power supply. This board wants a stable 12 volt supply. I'm using 12 volts 5 amps current. If your power is weak, you're going to hear a hissing or maybe a buzz. The wiring for this is pretty simple. I have an audio cable connected between the DAC and the amp. I have the amp powered by a 12 volt 5 amp power supply, and the speakers are connected to the left and right speaker screw terminals. We also use one momentary button on GPIO 4 for all the controls. I wired the button to ground and I use the ESP32's internal pull-up resistor, so the pin reads high normally, and then when you press the button it goes low. Since buttons are electrically noisy, we added debouncing to ignore rapid changes for about 30 milliseconds, That way one press doesn't register as multiple presses. So this one button has 3 controls. There's a short press, which advances to the next song, a long press, which goes to the previous song, and then a triple click or a triple press real fast stops playback. The player doesn't scan the whole SD card, it's just a list of simple file paths. So if I wanted different songs, I would edit this tracks array, and I'd put the exact file names in there. The folder name's important too. My folder is called music, so the path looks like this. If your file names are different with spaces and punctuation, it still works, you just have to match it exactly. Now my one button has multiple actions, and the timing is adjustable. And when I triple press, and sometimes it doesn't stop, that's usually because the click window is too short, but you can change that under the setting multi-click MS. Right now it's set for 450 milliseconds, so if I pause longer than that between clicks, the code assumes that I'm done clicking, and it triggers a normal action instead. You can bump that up to 800 milliseconds, and it might be a little more reliable. Same idea with the long press and the debounce. Up to this point, I've been using a little Class D amp board to drive the passive speakers. Because a DAC, like the one we're using today, only outputs line level audio. It can't power the speakers by itself. But here's another option for you. I'm going to unplug the amp and the passive speakers, and instead I'm connecting the DAC's left and right outputs straight into the active speaker, which is the UNS Angle 3 Pro. I've used it in several different videos, and I'm using its auxiliary import located on the back to connect it to the DAC. And because the speaker already has its own amplifier built in, I don't need an external amp board at all. So that means fewer wires, less messy, and a faster setup, and it's a nice upgrade if you want better sound. That's all I have for today. If you found this useful, be sure to like the video by clicking the thumbs up. Also share it with somebody else who may find it useful, and consider subscribing if you enjoy this type of stuff. Also check out our email list, details are in the description, and I will see you again with another video.